Are you a teacher with student loans? If so, your options are a little bit more complicated than you might think. There's something called teacher loan forgiveness, and you would think that teacher loan forgiveness, just by virtue of having your occupation in the name of the program, would mean that any teacher who has student loan debt should use that teacher loan forgiveness program to get that amount of debt forgiven. But the problem with that is that the program only covers up to $17,500 of student loan debt in forgiveness, and even then it only covers that if you work in a specific field such as special education or secondary math or science teachers. If you're not in the critical needs area, then you might only qualify for $5,000 of forgiveness under the teacher loan forgiveness program. Now, there's another program that most teachers qualify for called public service loan forgiveness, and you qualify for this program if you're making payments based on your income over 10 years. And at the end of those 10 years, your loans are forgiven tax-free if you're working for those full 10 years at a not-for-profit or government employer. Well, guess what? Most teachers, you're going to be working at a not-for-profit or government employer like a school district, right? And most teachers work full-time. Under the rules for public service loan forgiveness, the definition of full-time employment includes teachers in that definition, because it basically says you can be, on a contract where you have the summers off, but if it's part of your job and you're considered full-time by the employer, then you're full-time, for example. So public service loan forgiveness is an option for teachers as well. But here's the problem. For teachers pursuing loan forgiveness, your amount that you can have forgiven on teacher loan forgiveness is $17,500 max, but PSLF, for public service loan forgiveness, you can have an unlimited amount of loans forgiven, right? So if you have a lot more than, say, $20,000 of student loan debt, then public service loan forgiveness is going to be a better option probably to pursue, especially if you think you're going to work for 10 years in a not-for-profit or government employer. And it doesn't necessarily have to be as a teacher. You could work in any field and work full-time for those 10 years and qualify for that. One really big problem with the way these programs were designed is that you cannot qualify for teacher loan forgiveness and public service loan forgiveness at the same time. In other words, you could do teacher loan forgiveness and get the $17,500 forgiven, and then you could do PSLF, but you'd have to do it over 15 years instead of 10 and doing them concurrently. That's a major, major flaw in the design of these programs, because really, if you're a teacher and you owe less than $20,000 or $25,000, then teacher loan forgiveness might make some sense. And if you owe anything more than that, and it's federal student loan debt, you probably want to do the PSLF program instead. Now, you can refinance student loans, and certainly if you have private student loans, you could refinance at studentloanplanner.com/refi, R-E-F-I. But that is something that most teachers should not do, because if you're not going to qualify, for teacher loan forgiveness or PSLF if you refinance your loans. Now, if you're not going to qualify for those programs because you did the math and you are looking at your career trajectory and you just know that you're not going to do one of those things that's going to qualify you for that benefit, then okay, go ahead and potentially refinance your federal student loan debt. But in reality, so many teachers out there are paying way too much on their student loans simply because nobody out there is giving them the kind of information that they need so they can get their loans forgiven. In fact, there's a lot more information out there, in my opinion, about how people that are making lots of income, very high income professionals, can take advantage of these programs instead of teachers. And I want to change that because my father was a teacher for 40 years. So I know, if you're a teacher, a little bit about what you're going through, how you're having to bring home work, and just everything that a teacher has to do to be successful. Teachers have been in my family for generations, and they carry a special place in my heart. The occupation does. So if you have student loan debt, you do not want to pay a dime more than you have to. Feel free to take a look at the blog post in the comments and just try to do the right thing for you and your family.